a mind to a limit where it needs to feed. I work blind, got vision I don't need to see. I'm picking mind over matter, I believe in me. I need to find more hours in the day to breathe. Need to find more power in the way I be. And when my mind turns sour with the painful scenes, I need to scream out loud, I can't stop me. I wanna be the greatest like Rocky. You know I leave them all hating like a hobby. I'm out here making moves like a lobby. And if you ain't with me, it's your loss. See, I got my mind on the facts, I'm a python, grab what I like real fast. Choke until I have everything I attack, everything that I lack, everything that I want, and I see, matter of fact. Cause I'm my own worst enemy. Only if I let it be. I can control anything if I can just think carefully. I control my destiny. Deep up in my mind I manifest it. Every morning I wake up obsessed, and everything I do the best. And deep within my mind, you know I'll always manifest it.
Hello and welcome to My Mind Over Your Matter. My name is Rick. Let's go ahead and start the show. Oh man, what a horrible day today was. It's just not a good day. I wish I could skip this day. It's just not a good day. But we're going to go straight to the news. I'm not going to be here for long. I'm just going to do a quick 1 hour and hit it and run, like they say. So we're just going to go straight to the news nonstop. Give me 1 sec, set it up. Let's go.
Well, hello and welcome back. Cracker Barrel suffering yet another loss. Its stock opened slightly down today after losing $100 million in value last week. The popular Southern-style restaurant chain catching heat from customers who were very upset about its, quote, woke rebrand. And now we're getting a look at one of the company's top investors, Gilbert Davila, who became a member of the company's board of directors in 2020. He has an extensive background in DEI. According to the company's investor website, Davila heads up a consulting company that is, quote, a leading multicultural marketing, diversity, and inclusion and strategy firm in the United States. Gross. Emily, after all of the missteps that we've seen from various corporations, and you can put Bud Light at the top of the list, and just how much market share they lost after a couple of beer cans, did Cracker Barrel really not see this coming?
I guess not. And that's what makes it so disheartening is I thought, that we were past that sort of frantic, emergent point in history where these companies felt that they needed to spend a lot of their shareholders' money and income on these firms. I mean, when you talk about what industries have been sort of concretized here, to know that there are such a thing as strategy firms of DEI and that this wokeness has become
trying to do the show in 1 hour.
Very important industry. That's where the money went. And the irony is that Cracker Barrel and these companies are paying so much of their money to these firms, and it's a sham. It's a Ponzi scheme because all they get out of it is the complete gutting of their customer base. What I don't understand is what possessed them to have this kind of refresh in the first place, because there's something to be said for let's be innovative and let's take this to the new generation. But that doesn't mean an erasing of what the logo was about and what the culture was about, which is why it was beloved. That's the whole thing. You don't mess with what's broken. Apparently, Snoop Dogg took his nephew, I believe, to a Disney movie and then just talked about on a podcast. He said, I didn't sign up for this, beep, because he encountered a woke scene that he said was ridiculous. And I can't believe I subjected a child to this. So this is only going to keep happening if they fail to see the forest for the trees and keep employing these ridiculous figures that are swindlers at best.
Well, is that what they're doing? I mean, did these DEI marketing groups and people like Gilbert Davila, did they go to these corporations and scare them? Like, how are they shaking them down and causing this much needless change?
You know, on Friday, I used a clip of my cousin Vinny when the party says, I heard of grits, but I never seen a grit. Because I really think that was the CEO of Cracker Barrel. I don't think she ever saw a grit in her whole life until they called her up. You want to be CEO of Cracker Barrel? She says, yeah, I will. You know, I mean, honestly, they're so disconnected, and they live in an echo chamber where this is the right thing to do. She's out there saying there's a small minority of folks who are upset about this, and everyone else likes it out in the Hamptons. Why don't these people, right? So it really, to your point, is amazing that they keep doing this over and over. We've seen the collateral damage. Long-lasting for Target, Nike, Starbucks. It exists to this day. These companies have not been able to turn around. Even Tractor Supply, which somehow decided to ask a consultant from Boston how to deal with the Midwest customers. And they, remember for a moment, they went DEI completely, but they woke up. You know, one bad day of the stock, and they like, hold up, we're going to invest in 4-H. And, you know, they became a real Midwestern company real quick, but the stock, again, has mostly been sideways for over a year. So it's why they keep doing this, and there's one other quick thing that's part of this, ageism. Ageism. Getting rid of the old dude off the thing is something that everyone thinks is hip right now. In fact, if you're over 50, you lose a job today, there's a 25% chance in this country you'll never work again. Ow. Ageism is a major, major problem. It's the only ism really that we should be talking about.
Yeah, I like the overall.
This is a hostile takeover, though. They're trying to New York a Southern brand. I mean, Cracker Barrel was born out of Lebanon, Tennessee, where you've got about 50,000 people who currently live there. It's a Southern brand, started 56 years ago, and they're trying to New York it. Right. You look at what they did recently with the marketing team. They had a pop-up here in New York City in the meatpacking district with a bunch of influencers. Right. This is a brand known for Southern cuisine. And you've got a nostalgia-based brand, and they're trying to kill the nostalgia. Just like everything the left touches, it dies. They're taking a brand in a restaurant that you go into and it gives you the warm and fuzzy and turning it into soulless and cold. Right. And so so it's sad to me that they're taking such an iconic brand and they're going to kill it, as evidenced by what we're seeing in the reaction to this.
I have a little bit of a different take on it, to be honest with you, because, and Charles mentioned this, the stock's been struggling for the last year and the company's been struggling for the last year. And their sales were down in particular in the first quarter. So they needed to do something. Was this the right choice? Obviously, considering what just happened to the company stock, looks like it was a bad choice. But, you know, Gilbert Davila, you mentioned like what would motivate this person. Well, obviously that person, Gilbert, has decided to be on the board of a company to affect change that he thinks is the right way to go, that benefits him, benefits his company and his pocketbook by using his power on the board to your point, potentially ruin a great American restaurant. The logo design, cleaning up the restaurants. Many analysts had said they needed to actually make some changes to the actual restaurants. Did you need to change the logo? I don't know. I'm a little neutral on that. Clean it up, make it a little simpler. Fair enough. Maybe that was just a mistake on their part. But the CEO's comments about basically telling MAGA, we'll just go eat somewhere else. Not a smart
That
move.
was a death knell.
Not a smart move.
Also,
that's the last nail in the coffin.
But you're taking something that's traditionally Southern cuisine, and now it's like they have like plant-based items and stuff, right? Like it's just it's antithetical to like the whole purpose of Cracker Barrel.
You want a plant-based item at Cracker Barrel, get the green beans and a sweet potato. They are delicious.
Yes.
It is part of my regular Cracker Barrel order, where my Aunt Kathy has been a server for 2 decades.
Well, if you want to change the logo, fine, but leave the food alone.
Although, do you think anyone ever was driving up to a Cracker Barrel and said, look at that logo, I'm not going in there.
I'm going in there, and when I'm done going in there, I'm going to sit on the rocking chair for a good 4 hours and read a book.
Grab me some tchotchkes while you're there.
Got it.
Hey, everyone. I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and
It's a controversy that just won't go away. Even Cracker Barrel's apology has received some backlash. The Tennessee-based chain, after a week's worth of criticism, issued a statement that said, in part, quote, "We know we won't always get everything right the first time, but we'll keep testing, learning, and listening to our guests and employees." Well, critics called that mea culpa weak and lame, and even the customers we spoke with here said they're not happy with the changes.
I'm old school. I like the old original menu that they had better.
You know, it ain't broke. So why are they trying to change anything?
I'm country all the way. I think they need to keep it country from now on.
They're not doing themselves any favors with everything that has gone woke. How many have made it?
President Trump even joined the conversation, posting on Truth Social, quote, "Cracker Barrel should go back to the old logo, admit a mistake based on customer response, the ultimate poll, and manage the company better than ever before." Well, despite the backlash, Cracker Barrel CEO Julie Fells-Massino is sticking with her plans for now, including a new company logo that's been called bland and generic, and a store refresh that includes brighter paints, less knickknacks, and a more streamlined look. Even Bar Rescue host John Taffer says the restaurant chain is making a big mistake.
They tossed away their authenticity. They tossed away who they are. Now they're saying, well, we're going to test and do more. So they're saying, so we're going to be less authentic going forward. The decisions, the discussions that they're making are absurd.
The company's $700 million rebranding campaign is being called by some analysts a complete disaster.
It is a disaster. Got some breaking news on this too.
All right, welcome back in here to Live and Now from Fox. I am Andy Mack. What is old is new again, and I am referring to the Cracker Barrel logo, as you can see here on social media, courtesy of Fox News, that the Cracker Barrel announcing it's changing the logo back after this rebrand. And I know there was a lot of outrage around this as Cracker Barrel found itself at odds with its fans after removing Uncle Herschel from its logo. The company unveiled it, revamped text-only design, sparking backlash and sinking its stock price. The original 1969 logo was also text-only, but the 1977 edition of the now iconic imagery became a staple of its branding. The chain also redesigned the interior of its restaurants, ditching some of that American aesthetic and replacing it with a slick, modern motif. Obviously, this is something that we've heard from President Trump calling on Cracker Barrel to revert to that old logo. And I know so many people, so many of our viewers frequent Cracker Barrel. They were obviously not necessarily pleased with that most recent change to a logo, but now going back as well. You can see the full statement from this saying, "We thank our guests for sharing your voices and love for Cracker Barrel. We said we would listen, and we have. Our new logo is going away, and our old timer will remain at Cracker Barrel. It's always been and always will be about serving up delicious food, warm welcomes, and the kind of country hospitality that feels like family. As a proud American institution, our 70,000 hardworking employees look forward to welcoming you to our table very soon." So obviously following this very closely here on Live and Now from Fox. And as I mentioned, President Trump, this made a comment just 8 hours or so ago, expressing some outrage, displeasure with this new change. This coming in from the press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, saying Cracker Barrel should go back to the old logo, admit a mistake based on customer response. And I guess that is exactly what just happened, as now Cracker Barrel going back to the old logo there.
That didn't take long. Well, they're going back to the old logo. Listen, go back to the old menu. Because I remember in the beginning when Cracker Barrel came out, I went to it and it was fucking delicious. The biscuits were delicious. Like it actually, like the biscuits and gravy, it was so freaking delicious. Now, the last time I went to a Cracker Barrel was about a year ago. About a year ago, and I went to the one here in Connecticut. I was not impressed. I was not impressed. I was like very underwhelmed. I was like, damn, this shit tastes horrible. It's not like how I used to. Like, what the hell's going on? And you could tell that they're slacking, and they're not doing things fresh. So I might do a show from Cracker Barrel. Like, damn, Rick, that sounds like a good idea. I was like, I know. I go to a Cracker Barrel, I'll do it live. I'll fucking do a show from my phone. Say, look, I'm in fucking Cracker Barrel. That might happen. Don't test me. Don't test me. All right, let's see what's going on over here. Like I said, we're gonna go a little rapid because I'm trying to get this done in an hour. I got an appointment early in the morning tomorrow, so I'm trying to get to bed early tonight. So let's get this going.
News developing late this afternoon. A shooting in Minneapolis leaves one person dead and several others injured. That just happened this afternoon.
And this happened at the Phillips West neighborhood near a school. Fox 9's Maury Glover is live for us tonight with an update from the police department. Maury?
These people don't learn every day. We wake up.
Well, as you can see, this area is still taped off as police try to piece together what happened. I'll step out of the way. The chief is actually calling this a deeply troubling act of violence.
This is troubling.
That is unacceptable. Now, police say around 1:30, a man with a rifle opened fire on a group of people near 29th and Clinton. Investigators say one man was found dead at the scene and 6 others were injured, 3 of them critically, although police say all 6 are expected to survive. Now, police say the shooter fled in a car and they're in the process of trying to identify him, but they believe one of the victims was targeted and that this was not random.
It's deeply disturbing. Obviously, this is the middle of the day.
They were followed.
Standing literally right next to a high school. And this type of weapon, it's more for a weapon of war than something to be on the street.
The AK?
Just the damage that was done.
What type of weapon was it?
Some of these victims is unspeakable. And thankfully, we don't have more people that are dead from this incident.
Now, police say the gunman in all fired 30 rounds. They also say there is plenty of surveillance video in the area. You can see the back window of this minivan was one of the vehicles that was impacted by this shooting. Now, investigators also say they are confident that they will be able to apprehend the suspect. Of course, we'll keep tabs on this and keep you up to date in our later newscast tonight. Reporting live in Minneapolis.
What type of gun was it? What bullet?
All right, Maury, thank you. Tomorrow,
Oh my god, these reporters fucking suck, man. Can we get fucking real reporters again? Like, oh my goodness. Like, how are you gonna be incomplete in your report? Like, what type of it was a weapon for war. Okay. I'm thinking AK, like, was it? Like, is it AK? Is it like I don't know, 30 rounds? And if it was a shotgun, like what shotgun shoots 30 rounds? Is it like fucking a Terminator gun or something? I don't know. I'm not too familiar with all these weapons. But I say this, like, I'm pro gun. I'm pro self-defense. If someone is endangering your life, you have every right to defend your life against another. So now you know where I stand on that, because you have every right to protect yourself. It's just, that's just this. Okay, let's go to, oh goodness, Baby Emmanuel. This one we've been following for the past few days. It makes me sick every single time, but we got to watch it.
And we begin with that breaking news in the Inland Empire. A major break in the case of a 7-month-old missing for more than a week now. The parents of 7-month-old Emmanuel Haro have now been charged for his murder. The baby boy disappeared August 14th, and investigators are still searching for him. NBC4's Christian Cáceres is live in Riverside, where his parents made their first court appearance today. Christian.
Annabelle, good afternoon to you. And that's right, as you mentioned,
if I was innocent, I would be screaming.
And also for filing a fake police report. But as you mentioned, they made their first court appearance today. Take a look.
So for Mr. Haro, you don't understand how I would be.
Well, the parents of 7-month-old Emmanuel Haro were supposed to be arraigned today inside a Riverside courtroom, but the judge pushed the case to next month because the couple's public defender said they had limited information, meaning no police report and only the complaint, which was actually filed today. Now, it's been 12 days since the couple reported their missing son from the shopping center in Yucaipa. That's when the boy's mother, Rebecca, said she was attacked from behind while changing his diaper in the parking lot. When she regained consciousness, she says her son was gone. For several days, sheriff investigators searched for the boy, but an Amber Alert was never issued. Investigators said the parents' story started becoming inconsistent. And last Friday, both Jake and Rebecca were arrested at their Cabazon home as the whereabouts of their son remain unknown. Today, several families came together outside the courthouse in support for the missing boy.
It seems like he didn't have a lot of love in his life. And so I just felt like it was important to come out here and just show him, that people do care.
And according to court documents obtained by NBC4 Investigates, Jake was convicted in 2021 for cruelty to a child and in 2024 for being a felon in possession of a handgun. And Annabelle, I have to mention that Jake and Rebecca Haro's case, again, has been pushed to next month. And hopefully the public defender says they will have a private attorney. But again, they're hoping that all of this information comes together within the next couple of days. But we're also learning that tomorrow, the Riverside County District Attorney's Office, they plan on releasing more information about this case. They're holding a press conference tomorrow morning where we know the San Bernardino and the Riverside County Sheriff's Departments, they're both going to be there. So stay tuned to that. That's the very latest from Riverside. Christian Cáceres, NBC4 News.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Let's go to the next news here.
Attorney, analyst, and mother, by the way, which would be important maybe on a story like this. What do you make of it?
Yeah, I mean, heartbreaking story. The most vulnerable children, obviously, we count on parents to keep them safe. And obviously, this couple is still presumed innocent unless they're convicted at trial. But the evidence isn't looking great. The fact that they have been arrested, they've been formally charged with murder. They've been charged with filing a false report. We also have some what's coming out about the father, a previous child cruelty conviction. So devastating, of course, for people who care about this baby.
What stands out, if anything, about their comments? This is from the News Nation station KTLA out in Los Angeles, with them calling for baby Emmanuel's return right after he was reported missing. Watch.
We get the diaper and somebody said hola, and I didn't see nothing since. I woke up right here on the floor.
Oh no.
And I didn't see Emmanuel.
Whoever took my
Okay, I gotta stop it. I gotta stop it. Oh no, you knew I was gonna do this. You guys knew I was gonna do this. Hola! Oh my god, how could you do like all I heard what they said. Hola! And then I saw all white. And then the baby was gone. It's funny because all the cameras around the area doesn't show any cars leaving. Like they would have seen your car come in the video, which they did. But hola didn't really happen. Because no car left the facility. They have it on camera. They know every single car that left that facility. Now, what's her story? I dropped my baby on his head. and he's dead. You know, if they dump the body, there's a chance they're never gonna find that kid. If they buried the kid, then there's 100% chance they could find him. But if they left them on the ground, there's a very good chance they're not gonna find that kid. That's sad, man. You know, because the wildlife will eat that shit. You know, wildlife don't give a fuck. They will eat you. All right, let's go to some other news. We're doing good with the news. I might be able to be done before an hour. That would be great. But that hola drives me crazy every single time I hear it. You know, it just plays with my mind because like her fake cry, like her fake concern. If I was in that jail cell, if I was in jail, I was in court, I would be screaming to the top of my fucking lungs, I'm fucking innocent. Where the fuck is I gotta find my fucking kid? You know what I mean? Like you will be so passionate, you will be so mad, you'll be like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? These people are like it's a fucking inconvenience. Like just looking, listening. She's over there like, if I was a fucking mother, I'd be fucking going ballistic. Like, where's my fucking kid? Even in the fucking courtroom, I'll be screaming and shouting, where's my fucking kid? I don't know. I tell you right now, she dropped that baby in his head. She killed the baby, man. And he played a role in it because he played the cover. He like the cover role, the cover up. You know, discarded the body, and then started dumping. The fucked up thing is when the cops went in there, they went into the house to arrest them. They did an investigation. Come to find out, all the baby clothes are gone. All the baby stuff is gone. Like, why would your baby's clothes and baby stuff would be gone if you say that your baby was kidnapped? You know what I mean? It just doesn't add the fuck up. It doesn't add up. That's a fucking weird case. It exposes a lot of California weakness too in the justice system out there. It's a clown show, so expect the clown case. That's just crazy. All right, let's go back and let's finish listening to these. Hola. And then we got like 4 more to watch, and then that's it. So I'm telling you, it's going to be under an hour.
We get the diaper and somebody said hola, and I didn't see nothing since. I woke up right here on the floor, and I didn't see Emmanuel.
Whoever took my son, please return him. We just want him back. We won't do anything to you. We just give us our son.
No
Keep him
tears.
safe, don't hurt him.
Man, I guess one of the things that obviously would stand out just from the appearance is the mother of the black eye.
Mm-hmm. True. And what I mentioned about the prior conviction of the father, which, may or may not be able to come into trial as a prior bad act, but there was his daughter at the time was, had injuries like severe trauma to her head, et cetera, that led to his conviction of a child cruelty charge. So yeah, unclear whether or not there was some abuse there with the wife as well. But I have to say, I have seen so many accounts where parents, unfortunately, even parents, will display emotion like that and then end up getting convicted at trial in a way that you can't sometimes fathom. But unfortunately, if this is the case, this isn't the first time I've seen it.
It's going to be hard to elicit any type of sympathy, I would think, for these people, depending on how much evidence, of course, is presented. But you're saying that maybe, or not saying, but maybe indicating that maybe the mother, claims being abused by the father, or maybe that's part of her potential defense. I don't know.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I mean, they will ask for a separate trial for that purpose. That way she could kind of point it to him and say that she was under his influence, that she was, abused herself. But, you don't always get separate trials. That's something a judge will have to consider. And if they get tried together, then, that makes it a lot harder. But regardless, even if she claims abuse for herself, it's very hard to get a sympathetic jury when you are the person in charge of the safety of that child and you don't keep them safe.
Maybe, Dina, while you're with us, quick thoughts on one other legal issue that came up today, and that would be the death penalty, which I think we have in 27 states, and of course the federal level as well. But the reason it came up today is the president raised it as a possibility in the District of Columbia, Washington, D.C. Thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit unclear what he meant there. Did he mean that federal, if they're charged with federal crimes, you can commit a murder and it could be considered a federal crime in addition to a state crime, depending on the murder, where the jurisdiction is, how it happened. And if that's the case, the federal government already has the option of imposing a death penalty on murders. If he was speaking about purely state crimes, that's going to be a lot more difficult. DC has, according to Congress, they have like a home rule. They have the ability to govern themselves to some extent. Of course, they're not a state, so it's not as clear cut, but they have decided not to have the death penalty for their local quasi-type state crimes. So if he's talking about that, most likely, then you open up a whole can of worms. That act that Congress passed back in the 70s, giving the home rule would get looked at. And frankly, if he is talking about that, you're going to have DC residents call even more to become a state, because if you go against the voters' wishes, most likely they're going to want more chance to govern themselves. But it was a little unclear there if you meant federal murder crime or the local.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our News Nation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.
This fixed here because I got a couple of things to watch, so bear with me. Some of the shows popped up, and I would like to watch them before I leave. So, give me 1 second so I can set all this up, and then we're gonna watch a couple of things here. I'm just resizing them right now, so that way just go right to it. This one's done. Okay, so let's go here. All right, rapid fire. We got to keep it moving.
Theme from Democrats when it comes to anything related to President Trump seems to be stand up and fight back. And as more voices are added to that message to the White House, Mayor Brandon Johnson said today he's not worried if that further provokes the president. Each day that the possibility of National Guard troops being deployed to Chicago continues to loom seems to be one more day of emboldenment for those who oppose it. Now, as labor groups plan for their Labor Day demonstrations, they have new motivation to stand together.
The kind of quote-unquote help that he wants to bring to the city isn't a help. It's just a trap that we are not going to walk into.
Labor groups are prepared for demonstrations if the president sends the Guard here. One day after Governor J.B. Pritzker led a massive coordinated display of unity against such a move, the president still suggesting leaders should be asking for his help.
And yet they don't want help.
That Illinois, where they have such a problem with crime, such a bad governor, he should be calling me and he should be saying, could you send over the troops, please?
This morning, a small coalition of advocates for victims of gun violence also standing against the need for troops to man the streets of Chicago.
We don't need troops on our grounds. This is not a war zone. I'm looking around right now. I don't see a war zone. I go in my neighborhood. I go to the same place where I got shot.
I can't hear
Not a
you.
war zone.
The mayor encouraging people
There's
to
a
take
war
to the streets
zone?
if the guard is
It's
deployed
crazy.
here.
How many
I
people
know
have
that the people
been
of
killed in
Chicago
Chicago?
understand the constitutional privilege of being able to elevate your voices
This guy's a joke.
to be able to protest in a peaceful way. That's what I'm calling
Look at
for.
his handlers
That's
behind
what
him.
the city of Chicago is known
See the
for.
handlers?
Mayor Johnson not concerned about the
So these are
possibility that all the tough
paid
talk against the
propaganda.
president could only provoke him to act.
The fact that you have a unified front in Chicago where we
Look at this
are
person.
rejecting
Look at this one.
the occupation by the military of our
It's like a
cities.
puppet handler.
That's actually fighting for our democracy. That's what's required in this moment.
Democracy. Shut the fuck up. All right, let's go next. Let's go here.
I hope, Mr. President, that we can pass a law that criminalizes flag burning and desecration. I agree that this burning, this desecration that can happen to our flag is something that people have a right to ask this body to try to prohibit and prevent it.
That's crazy. Hillary Clinton with her craziness. Okay, I don't need the music of this, so let's cut that out. But that's a little crazy. Hillary Clinton. And that was in 2006. Which would make flag burning a crime. It should be a fucking crime. Hold on, let's see if she's speaking. No, they just have music. So, yeah, like, Trump is like, you burn my flag, I burn your ass. I'm putting up this shit, motherfuckers. That's a pretty good Trump. I think he would like that. I bet you he'll approve it. Yeah, like, it's not about race. It's not about, like, it's about controlling the situation like this you're watching on the screen. Like, they're burning a flag. An American flag in the United States. And look at all the people that are around that are happy about it. You know what? All of them should be charged with a crime. All of them should go to jail. But yet we're soft on we don't have enough police. We don't have enough people to be out there to grab these people. Trump is like, listen, I'm sending you the fucking National Guard, motherfuckers, if you like it or not. Listen, bitch, I told you I'm going to get Chicago, San Francisco, LA, and I'm going to put them in their motherfucking place. And there's going to be no doubt about it. I'm going to get this shit done quick, and you'll see, right? No, so let's get down to business, and fuck you, Democrats, for being a piece of shit city. It would never happen if I would have been elected out. It was a rigged election. That's what Trump would say. Yeah, I think I did a pretty good Trump there. Okay, let's go move on. Next one.
Over in Washington, D.C. Now, we are learning a little bit more about the crime crackdown there in D.C., as it does appear that the first homicide has been reported in several days. We also want to talk just a little bit more about a man who torched an American flag in protest being arrested. So much to discuss here.
Ooh,
Let's
they're
bring
arresting
in
them
Fox
now.
5 DC's Stephanie Ramirez joining us live outside the White House. And Stephanie, obviously a very busy morning here.
A busy morning indeed, and actually just within seconds we did have some National Guard members arrive on scene, so you might see them behind me here. It looks like they're picking up trash right now at Lafayette Park. We are just outside of the White House. All right, now in terms of the federal takeover, we know the Trump administration has been touting the takeover or federal surge as the reason why DC crime has not only dropped in the district, but the reason why we've seen nearly 2 straight weeks of no homicides. But that did change. We learned within the past hour that DC police did have a fatal shooting in the southeast neighborhood of the district, where a man was shot just before 12:30 in the morning and ended up dying of his injuries. Southeast, unfortunately, an area that is often plagued by crime. Now, moving on, and the president leaning into his focus on DC crime, the federal surge, and the focus on the administration of law and order. He did announce a number of new executive orders, and we saw an arrest connected to this. You were just talking about it. A man arrested outside of the White House yesterday evening at around 6:30. He burned an American flag, and we don't know his name. What's going on, though, is that the president had just announced an executive order essentially prohibiting the burning of American flags. And so we believe that this action was done in protest of that. We don't know the man's name. We don't know if his arrest is in connection with the executive order. Right now, Park Police are telling us that the charge or the violation that he was found to have committed here is called prohibited fire. We also don't know the man's name. What we are told is that he is an Army combat veteran, and he did this action, burning the American flag, in protest just hours after these executive orders. So again, the president leaning into what he's been focused on already here, issued these number of executive orders. One of them seeks to have anyone who burns or desecrates an American flag be prosecuted and spend a year in jail.
Wow.
And then there are other issues focused on, like, for example, requiring the Secretary of Defense to begin training and creating a specialized unit within the D.C. National Guard that can be deputized to enforce federal law. He wants the country's National Guards trained and ready to respond to civil disturbances. And another big one that targets D.C. specifically is an executive order to get rid of cashless bond. Now, D.C. leaders argue that goes against the crime data in the district. The DC ACLU argues that the president, quote, is furthering his dangerous performative abuse of power in DC, and that it can actually have a negative impact on public safety by separating people from their support networks, jobs, and housing. Now, I do want to note the DC Council did change the law to hold more people pre-trial in recent years. It's something council members say have contributed to the lowering of DC's crime rate before the federal surge started about 2 weeks ago. Here's what the president said in his comments yesterday.
Somebody kills somebody, they go in, don't worry about it, no cash, come back in a couple of months, we'll give you a trial. You never see the person again.
And guys, as residents in DC have been protesting, you see a lot of this on social media, especially folks surrounding the federal task force groups making arrests and also recording to make sure that they are witnesses and make sure that no civil rights are violated. In the midst of this, Monday, we also learned of another investigation on the DC police alleged manipulation of crime data. So the White House Deputy Chief of Staff, Stephen Miller, he said yesterday that there were accusations of homicides being reported as accidents instead of murders. The House Oversight Committee is now investigating allegations. They confirmed they have received credible information. Our team here at Fox 5 in DC has asked the DC Police Department and their leadership about this. They have not responded. I can tell you I did ask the mayor and the police chief about this last week, and they just affirmed that they will answer any questions and cooperate with an investigation. That's the very latest here from the grounds in DC. I'll send it back into you all.
All right, Stephanie Ramirez there at Fox 5 DC. As always, thank you so much for taking the time to join us. We'll definitely be in touch as all of this does progress. Thank you again.
That's crazy.
With no clothes on.
This is Jason Nate.
Video emerged of the 26-year-old wearing only his underwear and cowboy boots on Ventura Boulevard before the run-in. The Grammy Award winner was briefly hospitalized for a possible overdose and taken into custody for battery.
And this comes after some disturbing Instagram posts over the last couple of days as well that raised some eyebrows.
We should note the LAPD is looking into whether the rapper was under the influence or under mental distress.
There's video of him, and here he is just walking the streets. The artist, whose real name is Montero Lamar Hill, he was arrested yesterday morning after he was seen in a video, first obtained by TMZ, wandering down the street, acting erratically, saying crazy things, and not wearing much but his underwear and a pair of cowboy boots. He reportedly punched an officer twice in the face that morning, and that led to his arrest. Police say he was also taken to the hospital, maybe for a possible overdose. Lil Nas X is still behind bars at this time. His reps have not commented on the situation. We hope he's well.
Yeah, that was at 5 a.m, and
he's obviously going through something, some type of episode of that, whether it's drug-induced or some type of other mental issue.
Not good. We wish him.
He's here in studio with me with those details. Pretty wild.
Yeah, it began with a call to police very early this morning, ended with this Grammy-winning musician in handcuffs. Well, the LAPD says they were called after this about reports of a man walking naked in the middle of Ventura Boulevard. Turned out it was 26-year-old rapper Lil Nas X, legal name Montero Lamar Hill.
This news comes after Lil Nas completely wiped his Instagram August 19th, before posting a series of cryptic pics as well as teasing snippets of several unreleased songs. With one of the posts including a selfie of the 26-year-old wearing a fur coat, cowboy hat, and bright red lipstick with the caption, "Oh no, she's gone mad. Crazy, I tell you."
As of tonight, no comment from his representatives. He's faced a health scare back in April when he experienced partial facial paralysis. He shared all that with his fans on Instagram. We're still waiting to hear more about all this. Tonight, TMZ's reporting he's still in custody.
Now to the #1 song on the Billboard Hot 100 as of today. It's called Montero, Call Me By Your Name by Lil Nas X. Take a listen.
Call me when you want, call me when you need, call me in the morning, I'll be on the way, call me when you want.
That victory to #1 has not come without controversy, as the video's satanic theme and homoerotic displays of affection have caused quite the reaction online and beyond. Joining us now to break it all down as far as the drama for us, the pop culture critic and friend of ABC News Prime, John Murray. John, thank you so much for joining us as always. Now, as you know, despite all the blowback the song received, it's still a hit. What do you think that says about music lovers and pop culture in our country?
You know, Lindsay, whether you love Lil Nas X or you were one of the people shouting, Jesus, take the wheel, as of this broadcast, 100 million people have watched this video and its concepts on YouTube. And as you mentioned, it's #1 on the pop charts. This was a satirical take on a theme that Lil Nas X said tormented him his whole life. The Christians who told him that he was going to live in hell. So he wanted to turn hell back towards them and say, listen, I actually went there. And he took these themes, he created this CGI video with this song, and whether they loved it or they hate it, people are paying attention to it. And he's either laughing all the way to the bank or he's sliding down that pole like he did in the video. Either way, he's having success from this, Lindsay.
Rolling Stone called the video unabashedly queer.
Yes, Montero Hill, in an incredibly sad situation, because this was somebody, I interviewed him in 2020, a really talented artist who kind of shot to fame overnight with his hit single. And he has really been trying to recapture that fame ever since. And he's had some success, but really never reached the heights of Old Town Road.
And with the release of the song, Lil Nas X also attached a letter to his 14-year-old self, which read in part, "This is very scary for me.
Doing this
People
under
will be
an hour.
angry. They will say
Well,
I'm pushing an
I'm not gonna give it
agenda,
under
but the
an
truth
hour.
is
It'll
I
be like
am. The
an hour
agenda to
and
make
5
people
minutes.
stay out of other people's lives and
But
stop dictating who they should be.
I'm getting off early because I
Sending
got
you love
doctor's
from
appointment
the
early in the
future."
morning.
How big of a moment is this when it comes to Black queer men in particular in the music industry?
Well, you know, Lindsay, in the 70s and 80s, there was an artist named Sylvester. He was probably the only real Black out gay man that was having commercial success in the music industry. Since then, I could probably really only name about a few people that have been able to have commercial success. You have Frank Ocean in the hip hop space, R&B singer Rasan Patterson, and then you have the pop performance artist Todrick Hall. Those are the only out gay men that I can think of that are really having commercial success. So Lil Nas X is showing that he's somebody who already broke through once as a hybrid hip hop country singer. And that in itself was controversial when he first came out. And now he is opening a door for other artists who can, and particularly Black gay artists who can live in their truth and have commercial success. It's a groundbreaking moment, and he's using art to provoke a conversation in many aspects. And that's what good art should do.
And that multiple people called the police because of his disturbing behavior. And one of those passerbyers, they got him on video. An incredibly sad situation.
Right.
Yeah.
And maybe mental health related.
Yeah, I mean, he's like been quite public about some of the
I'll
drugs
watch it
he's
when I get off
done,
of
the
here.
extent to which he's
'Cause
done
I'm
them.
gonna
and
play Tyson
so, yeah,
next.
that's all.
Not what you expect to see when you're driving 4 a.m.
No, and then the first thing
Yes,
somebody does is let
get
me
to
take
bed
out my
early.
camera and then
But I'll
let me
watch
take
it
out my
before
phone and call
when I lay down in
TMZ.
bed,
I
I'll
mean,
watch
what I saw was about a minute and a half. Was there more?
No, that was most of it.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of
A
crazy
long
stuff
time, minute and a
happened.
half.
There's so much
All right,
news, but I can't get through all of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think I even tried to do that over the
Trying to get
weekend
to
when I
bed
clicked
early.
on I said, let me just have some senseless entertainment and click on this video by Lil Nas, and I can't unsee
You
that.
see?
Okay, Mike. I can't unsee that. Okay, and
You see,
the
people
reaction to
are
it has been
affected
swift.
by
He's
the
being called
videos that they watch,
demonic.
and now
He's
they're
ruining
hooked on it.
society. He is
I'm
the
not
end
watching that
of
shit.
us. I don't agree with all that, but
then a lot of people with this video that came out, I guess he was
Yeah, but that's in a
expressing
minute.
himself in a lot of ways. So if you
I
haven't
like
seen it, just to give some
at least
people
like
the
5
background,
minutes.
he goes from
I
the
like
Garden of
4
Eden,
3-4
and then he
minutes.
slides down this pole, and he's
But a
going
minute?
into
Damn.
hell, where he starts to give the devil a
Yeah,
lap
send it to
dance
me.
before ending up killing the devil. And a lot of people upset about it. And he actually responded to some of his critics today because,
Yeah, 'cause
or
I
yesterday,
want to get
because
to bed. I'm
people are
tired.
trying to say he's a role model, and he should
It
be
was a stressful
more
day today.
decisive or responsible when it comes to what he puts out there because of the children. He says, I'm an adult. I'm not going to spend my entire career catering to your children. That is your job. And with that statement, I agree. It is not his job to raise your children.
yeah.
It is your job to raise your own children.
Yeah, I think Charles Barkley said the same thing, okay, all those years ago. But he says more to the people who say he was
Oh, but
destroying
it's on
society.
Facebook.
He said, look,
I don't have
there's a
Facebook.
mass shooting every week that our government does nothing to stop. Me
I don't. Do
sliding
you have
Reddit down
another
a
format?
CPI poll isn't what's destroying society.
Yeah,
And
I don't
then he
use
even
Facebook.
tweeted out
I don't
something
support
from
or give
2019
data
where he was
to
performing his
Zuckerberg.
hit song,
I don't trust that motherfucker.
in front of elementary school kids inside an
I don't
elementary
trust
school. And he
him. I
said,
don't trust
y'all did the same
Elon.
thing to
I
Miley
don't
Cyrus
trust.
with
There's a
Hannah
lot of them
Montana.
out there
Okay.
that I don't trust. A lot of them. That's crazy. We're gonna go straight right into Tyson De La Cruz. Let's go. Okay, hold on. Let me set this up again because the system's telling me that no sound. So let me stop sharing for a second and make me big. And then we're gonna go straight to Tyson De La Cruz. And then we're gonna watch this together. All right, here we go.
Division of motor vehicles now under investigation. Claims workers were selling driver's license to undocumented immigrants.
America, a Kentucky whistleblower just exposed a massive fraud scheme where government employees were selling driver's license to illegal immigrants for $200 each. No driving tests, no background check, just cash and go. Nearly 2,000 fraudulent licenses were issued over 2 years, with employees making 4 to 5 fake IDs per day across multiple state branches. But here's what's absolutely sick. Melissa Moorman, the whistleblower who exposed this corruption, got fired the same day she cooperated with law enforcement, while the governor claims he had no idea what was happening. Because this story shows exactly how document fraud pipelines work to help illegal immigrants evade deportation, while corrupt government employees get rich selling official documents. The retaliation against truth tellers is absolutely unreal.
Crazy.
The whistleblower says the apparent scheme happened 4 to 5 times a day for 2 years at multiple sites across the state.
What is up, guys? Tyson De La Cruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. This story exposes everything wrong with government corruption that punishes whistleblowers while protecting the criminals who sell official documents to people who shouldn't even have them. Let me tell you about Melissa Moorman because her story shows exactly what happens when good people try to do the right thing in a corrupt system.
Undocumented workers would come in to the office. They would be bypassed without even taking a permit test or taking the road test.
Melissa worked at the Louisville Center licensing branch through a staffing contractor called Quantum Solutions. She discovered that employees were selling fraudulent driver's license to illegal immigrants for $200 a piece. With employees being paid under the table, she immediately reported this to her supervisors.
They would then be paid under the table. they will be paid $200 a person.
Melissa Mormon, a 3-year employee working at the NIA Center branch, says illegals would walk in with fake birth certificates, social security cards, and utility bills.
We've seen this before in plenty other states, and we just saw it with the recent CDL situation. Melissa said she was angry for a long time, and it hurt to talk about it because she actually liked where she worked. But when she came to her office after cooperating with detectives, she said, my computer was shut down and I was told to go out the front door. She got fired. She got fired for doing the right thing.
2 co-workers, according to Mormon, would then give them the fast pass treatment. No lines, no tests, just licenses for cash.
Melissa was fired 3 months after sending a letter to Kentucky Transportation Cabinet blowing the whistle on workers selling driver's license under the table. The same day she spoke to detectives, she lost her job. That's not a coincidence. This is retaliation.
The undocumented workers would come into the office in groups. They would provide them either permits or driver's license illegally. So they will bypass without.
I know, right, Stephanie?
How much?
That's crazy.
$200 per person.
Up to 5 times a day, she says.
Now let me break down how this sophisticated fraud operation worked because it shows the level of corruption that we're dealing with in Kentucky. This was an industrial scale fraud operation. They used fake birth certificates, social security cards, but the key here was bypassing the required Homeland Security screenings. Employees processed transactions under other workers' computer logins. So if anyone investigated it, it looked like legitimate employees were processing legitimate applications.
My ID was being used in order to pin me into this scam.
Her whistleblower letter dated October 29th, 2024, warned management that her employee credentials were being used, even when she wasn't at work. Investigators later said that her ID popped up in more than 2,000 shady transactions.
Oh my God.
Took my phone and looked through all my messages. They looked through my Cash App. They looked through my Zelle.
Melissa started getting emails asking, how are you doing this? Because corrupt workers are using her logins and passwords. That's where it unraveled. The fraud was so systematic that they were using other employees' credentials to cover their tracks. Now let's talk about the scope of this fraud because the numbers show this was happening on an industrial scale across Kentucky.
Governor Andy Beshear confirmed that employees have been fired and almost 2,000 driver's licenses or credentials have been revoked.
The revoked credentials, if used, would not work at an airport, would be flagged if pulled over at a traffic stop.
The governor confirmed that almost 2,000 driver's licenses have been revoked. 2,000 driver's licenses. These credentials won't work at airports and they'll be flagged during traffic stops. That's nearly 2,000 people driving around Kentucky with fraudulent licenses who never took a driving test.
Beshear said the 1,985 driver's licenses were discovered during a routine review of credential applications. A former clerk spoke to WDRB News this week saying her coworkers were selling those driver's licenses to undocumented immigrants for $200.
This happened 4 to 5 times a day, at least for 2 years at multiple branches across Kentucky.
You see, reports were published saying that temporary workers in the regional driver's license offices were running an alleged fraud scheme where undocumented immigrants were allegedly issued IDs in exchange for $200.
Temporary workers in regional offices were running this fraud scheme where undocumented immigrants were issued IDs for $2,000 apiece. The regional office model created an environment where this corruption could actually flourish. Let's talk about the governor's claims about how he had no idea this massive fraud was happening in his own state agencies. When asked if the revoked licenses were issued to undocumented immigrants, the governor said he couldn't discuss this ongoing criminal investigation. But Melissa's letter reporting the fraud was sent in October 2024, and there had been repeated media inquiries about immigration connections.
But that's part of the investigation, and it's part of a criminal investigation. You know, there are a number of different reasons people might try to get fake identification, and I want to make sure I don't get in front of the Kentucky State Police in their current investigation.
One thing Beshear did confirm is that the employees allegedly involved in the scheme were not state workers. drivers.
The governor then read a prepared statement claiming that the Transportation Cabinet identified irregularities during regular reviews. But this wasn't discovered through regular reviews. It was exposed by a whistleblower who got fired for reporting it.
Auditor Allison Ball today saying that her office has asked for a formal explanation from Governor Beshear regarding reported irregularities and misconduct within Kentucky driver's license issue process.
And how was the governor not aware of a massive fraud scheme involving nearly 2,000 fraudulent licenses issued to illegal immigrants? Let me explain what this fraud scheme means for immigration enforcement and public safety, because the implications go far beyond Kentucky.
Adrian Trivedi helps people trying to obtain legal status, an immigration attorney for 14 years.
For those immigrants that don't have a pathway to obtain legal status, having a driver's license could mean the difference between getting home from work safely.
An immigration attorney admitted that immigrants without legal status having a driver's license could mean the difference between getting home from work safely and avoiding deportation. This confirms that people were buying fake licenses specifically to evade immigration enforcement. A fraudulent driver's license becomes the foundation for a completely fraudulent identity. It can be used to open up bank accounts, get jobs, rent apartments, and access to services. This $200 investment in a fake license enables people to live illegally in America while avoiding detection.
To Mormon, this license scheme exploited people.
I didn't want no parts of it.
Mormon says she wrote this letter with her boss on October 29th, and she spoke to detectives 3 months later. She was fired the same day.
America, this story exposes exactly how document fraud pipelines work to help illegal immigrants evade deportation, while corrupt government employees get rich selling official documents. Nearly 2,000 fraudulent driver's licenses were issued in 2 years at $200 apiece, with employees making 4 to 5 IDs per day across multiple Kentucky branches. These people never took driving tests, never proved that they could safely operate vehicles, and never went through the proper background checks. Melissa Mormon did everything right. She reported the fraud to her supervisor, cooperated with the investigation, helped identify corrupt employees, and provided information to law enforcement. And her reward? She got fired the same day she talked to detectives. And the governor? He claims he had no idea about the massive fraud that was happening in his own agencies, despite whistleblower letters, media inquiries, and nearly 2,000 revoked licenses. Either he's completely incompetent or he's lying about not knowing. The Transportation Cabinet withheld 2,300 records, suggesting this fraud scheme is much bigger than what we were told. How many other branches are involved? How high up does this corruption go? This case shows a pattern of what we're seeing across America. When honest employees report corruption, they get punished while the corrupt system protects itself. This sends a clear message to other potential whistleblowers: keep your mouth shut or you lose your job. Every time you're driving, you could be sharing the road with somebody who bought their license for $200 and has no idea how to drive safely or speak English. Document fraud creates safety risks for everyone while helping people evade immigration enforcement. Let me know what you guys think about this. Drop it down in the comment section down below. Smash the like button if you kindly would. Share, subscribe, and as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.
And yeah, here up in had a big bust that they were giving out these licenses to illegal immigrants without being vetted or anything, and they were going in with fake fake documents, fake social security, like a lot of like fake birth certificate, and they were giving them licenses. And they would pay a certain fee. They would give it to the kick. They'll kick it off to, one of the girls. And the girls will use somebody else's license and do the paperwork. And they get that money under the table. It's like $500 under the table. And they were seeing about, because that one report said 200. I was like, 200 my ass. That may be like $2,000 maybe in total, and maybe that's what they're only giving you. But I know probably up here they were like $500 per person, and they would see like 10 people a day. And imagine, it adds up. That's $5,000, But they got greedy, and the thing is that Boston, Massachusetts is very corrupt. Very, 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 very corrupt. Politicians from the top, I mean, talking about we need to drain the swamp. The swamp needs to be drained throughout the whole country, not only in Washington, but throughout the country, especially Boston, New York City, New York, all these Democratic cities up here. It's just wild. They just need to drain these people out and stop giving them federal funds, and you see how fast they switch. You'll see how they just they'll be like, oh yeah, what change? You know, it's like they all want to go against the grain, and they know that the system don't work that way, but they still want to stay on a floating, like on a ship that's sinking. You know, they still want to ride Titanic, while the rest of us are in lifeboats, and we're trying to make it. It's just crazy. But anyhow, I'm getting off of here. It's just yeah, let me see here. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, what they need to do, to be honest with you, to fix all this shit, they're gonna have to do a recall. So basically, from a certain time frame to a certain time frame, all those approvals that has been done at all these offices all around, they have to bring up all the reports, and they gotta match and clarify to make sure that these people are on the ICE list, because there's an immigration list. And if they are, well, they got their information to go get them. And the crazy part is they're carrying CDLs, so you don't even know what state they're in, because they could be working. And the fact that they're on our roads 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I mean, I had a run-in with an 18-wheeler up here in Connecticut near Hartford on the 91, and the motherfucker was swerving all over the place. He almost hit me. And I was like, motherfucker, I got so mad. If I had something in my car, like a bottle or a cup of like ice with full soda or drink on it, I would have thrown it at him. I would have thrown it right at his damn windshield. I don't know what the fuck what the hell he was doing, but he was like all over the fucking road. I almost called police. I was really close in calling the police. Yeah. They have to. Yeah, they have to know English. Yeah, they have to at least. They gotta know the signs of the road. They gotta know English. They at least know how to communicate with, with answering questions from police officers that are pulling over these trucks when they do an inspection. The first thing they say, "Good morning, hola." Like, what the fuck? What was that about? No, every time you say "hola," you have to do the punch. But yeah, I mean, these officers are putting their lives on the line every single day, and then you have these individuals that don't even know how to communicate, and they're asking for driver's license, insurance, paperwork, all this stuff. They want to know where this stuff is going, what's in there. They have to check it out, inspect it, and inspect the truck, make sure the brakes are good, make sure the tires are good. When's the last time the inspection was done, the vehicles, all that stuff. They have it on paperwork. They have it in a folder. So you got to explain to them, okay, here's this, here's the from when they had the inspection, here's one of the service papers, here's all this, because it's part of the inspection. They do surprise inspections all the fucking time. It's not a surprise. They do it up here in Connecticut a lot. So not too far where I live, there's a waste station. So they do that, and but there's a lot of them in the road. There's a lot of illegals on the road. And what's going to happen is they're going to have to not work anymore as far as doing that, right? So that's going to open up a lot of jobs in the trucking industry. I mean, it's something good for a lot of these young individuals to learn to get their CDLs and become truck drivers. It's and for a young person as a truck driver, man, and if you're a good one and you're reliable, holy shit, you can make a lot of money. Oh man, you can make a lot of money. Oh, and then you can make it fun. Like you can make your little room in the back. You put your little game system, your little TV. You know, you get an hour game before you go to sleep. Man, that's a kid's like a young adult's life. That'd be an awesome job for them. But the fact that our schools don't really teach that. You know, there's not like a class where if you want to learn how to be a truck driver, they can help you out in high school. They don't do that. You know, and it's sad because they should, because that would help out the industry, and that way you'll have a lot of kids with ambitions, and they go and they go for their license, and you know, and if they make it and they get the license and everything, you know, they could get a job, a good paying job, and that kid would be happy because he'd be young, dumb, full of cum and money, and and he's gonna have a good life, you know, because that's something that he started young, and he does it. He, you know, he could be doing it for like 20, 30 years and retire right after that, and he'll retire young. He'll retire young. That's the best part of it. Yeah, that's good. That's real good, Stephanie. And it's good for these kids to be influenced, you know? It's good for the kids to be influenced and positive. You know, I remember career day back in school. And I remember when the police used to come out, and I remember when they'll bring a soldier out, they bring a chef out, they bring like all different types of people throughout the community. The male person, then they would show they would do like a little display, a little show with the dog attacking the guy in the suit, and that dog did not play. That dog flew like Superman and gripped that arm, and yeah, I wouldn't want to fuck with that dog. I'm like, fuck that shit. But it was fun. Those career day from schools were really fun, you know, and it was something different, something like you could build some kind of ambition, some kind of goal for. You'd be like, damn, I want to be a firefighter, or I want to be a nurse, or I want to be a doctor, or I want to be, you know, it gives them that spark, you know, it gives them a small spark, and it down the line, you know, they have a lot of options, and it's good. It's good for everyone. Yeah, I remember they tried to get me into technical school. I remember it was oh, what was his name? It was and it was for airlines too. It was for airplanes. They tried to get me to damn, I'm trying to remember the name of it. Now that I'm thinking about it, I can't remember it. I knew it was by the airport. It was by Miami Airport, and it was a aviation technical school. And my teachers were recommending me to go really bad. I was like, man, I don't want to be working on a damn plane. I didn't want to work on the plane at that time. I didn't like, I don't know. I wasn't comfortable with planes. They always creep me out. Airplanes always creep me out. You know, because you got all this like tons up in the air, and it's like gliding, and it's just, it still fascinates me how humans don't even question it anymore. They so normalized by it. You know, if you go back in the days, like they would see things in the skies, but it wasn't a plane, it was UFOs. And they were just dropping off people. That's how they dropped off people here. That's why you see them in the paintings and religious paintings. They constantly were bringing people here. That's why you have people from like different and have like different languages all around the world. You know, I mean, you can sell me on the Adam and Eve thing, but I don't know Adam and Eve know how to speak Haitian or know how to speak Jamaican or know how to speak Chinese or know how to speak all these languages all around the world. It's impossible. You know, it's impossible. And some of these languages are like, you know, and that's like a whole like book I just read out to you. Okay, so that is what it is. I'm getting tired. I'm gonna go to bed early. I gotta wake up early. You scared of planes too? Oh my god. Oh, Stephanie, I am so scared of planes. You don't understand. Like, oh, nice. Yeah, I want to go there, but I think I'm gonna end up going to that area because I want to go to Busch Gardens. Okay, and I would like for you to go too because I know you bay about you know more, but I've never been there before. I've never been there before, and I want to go to Washington D.C. So I want to make sure Trump keeps it safe there in Washington, so that way I could go next year, and I'm gonna film from the White House, well, from the outside of the White House. I'll go live. I'm like, hey, look, I'm here, motherfuckers. They're like, oh my god, lead by example. That's right, motherfuckers. So get to it. Put your goals to get it running and get your goals going. You know, if you don't have no goals, then come up with some goals and just make it reasonable and easy and but achievable. You know what I mean? Something that is like, I want to go to Busch Gardens next year. Okay. Let me go to Busch Gardens next year. I want to see Stephanie. I want her to take me on a little tour. I want to see like Gettysburg, and I want to see where all the haunted places are. Like Rick is fucking crazy. It's like Rick's a fucking psychic. Rick knows I hear energy, I see things, I hear things. So it's like, to me, it's kind of like Disney World to me. Like the psychic world is like, it's literally like a theme park for me. But yeah, I'm gonna go out there. I want to check out a whole bunch of the history. I'm gonna stay out there for a few days, actually. I think we're talking, and I think we're gonna stay for like maybe like 3 or 4 days to give it some time so I can enjoy. I can't be rushing. I want to at least have a little good time, and then drive like back, not in a rush. You know, take our time back. You know, because I want to stop by certain places. I may go to Philly. I hope Trump sends the troops to Philly so I could clean up Philly because I want to go get a Philly cheesesteak. I want a Philly cheesesteak from Pat's. And I know Geno's looks across the street. I don't like Geno's cheese. But I like Pat's. But I don't like it cheesy. I like a little bit of cheese, not a lot of cheese. Just a very little. Usually I tell them put the cheese on the side. And I get a cup of cheese. Yeah. And then I like to get my hoagie because I like my hoagies. So I can get a hoagie and then go home. Take my time and go home. But at least we got food. Stay at a hotel somewhere around there, you know, and take our time back and then get back home and just relax. Yeah, for sure. You live around there. There's a friend of mine that lives in that area too. I have a friend that lives in Newport News, that area in Virginia. Um, Actually, my friend lives out there. He lives close. He lives not too he actually lives in Newport News. Let me see where it's at. Yeah, Newport News. Yep. My buddy lives there. I see that airport. I'm like, man, I'm flying right into that airport. I'm scared of flying, but man, I don't want to drive through New York. You know what I mean? Like, I'd rather take the fucking chances of dying than having to drive through New York. You know, it's crazy. That fucking bridge, that Brooklyn Bridge, and oh my god, I hate it. I hate those bridges. Like, I can't. I don't want to go through New York. I usually go on the northern side because there's a bridge on the top that you could cross and avoid that whole area, and you get into Jersey, and then you could commute through the Jersey area. It's much better than crossing and getting on that fucking Brooklyn Bridge and all the and Washington Bridge. I mean, oh my god, I can't stand those fucking bridges. All those bridges I can't fucking stand. I don't trust them. Those shits are super old, and I don't trust those. I don't care. I don't trust it. And the tunnel too. I hate the tunnel. Oh no! You're bridge and tunnels. You guys got bridge and tunnels too. Oh my goodness. Oh, 3 miles from you. Oh my god, you're like right there then. Oh, that's so cool. That's so cool. Do you guys have a Waffle House? Do you have a Waffle House? I hope you have a Waffle House out there. Because that's in Virginia. I'm pretty sure you have Waffle House. It's just because it's a place to eat good breakfast, and I like the waffles. You know, I'm an early bird, so yes, but you don't go there. Oh no. Is it crazy? You can tell me the truth. Is it in the hood? I've been to a few of them, but they were pretty clean, the ones I've been to. I mean, yeah, they were pretty clean. I used to like going into Waffle House like 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning. There's nobody in there, and then you just order your breakfast, and they will cook your breakfast. Nice. Older diners, nice. I like older diners. You know what I like to get from the older diners? I like to eat meatloaf. Who makes the best meatloaves? I love diner meatloaves with some mashed potato and some gravy. And I don't mind carrots and broccoli. They're like a mixed vegetable. Damn, that sounds good. It's making me hungry now. I'm gonna start making people hungry. I'm gonna start putting plates together. It's like, imagine that meatloaf, some mixed veggies, mashed potato and gravy. My goodness. And then Cracker Barrel went back to the old timer sign. Hot diggity damn. I hope they go back to their old menu. If they want to go changing, go back to the original menus, the original ingredients. Like, it was so good back in the days. Now, it feels processed. I'm just saying. I mean, it is what it is, but it lost its charm. You know, it lost its charm. And the fact that they lost $100 million, like recently, just like in a day, they lost $100 million. That is, I'll fire the bitch. The CEO was that bitch. You're the new one. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. You just cost me $100 million, bitch. Like, you crazy? Put that fucking old sign back. The old man, put him back. We don't have to buy new signs. We already have signs. I think we just need to revamp the menu and let's go back to the old school menu. You know, people were loving that. That's what brought the people in. And the apple pie. Oh my God. That apple pie. I love apples, you know, but apple pie, I'm a sucker for apple pie. A good apple pie. I do like apple pie. I like lemon meringue and I love apple pie, especially on Thanksgiving. Oh, and I have friends that know how to cook and they make the apple pie. Mmm. And I'm like, yes. I'm excited for this holiday season. I don't know about you guys, but I am. I hope it's a positive one. I hope it's a good one. I hope, we get snow, early snow. It's been cold lately. It's been getting cooler and cooler during the nights. I think tomorrow morning is going to be like in the 50s. Let me see. It's supposed to be in the 50s. 53 tomorrow morning. 53. And then tomorrow night, 49. We're breaking the 40s and we're in August still. We don't see 49 until God, like end of September into October. We start seeing like lows in the 40s. But it's not going to last long because the next night, Thursday morning, it's going to be 61. And it goes back 51, 51, 52, 53, 54, 57, 61. So it's only one day, which is tomorrow, Wednesday going into Thursday, that the temperature is going to drop to 49. And it's going to be windy too. It's going to be 10 miles per hour. That's going to change. These are starting to turn, Stephanie, because I'm more up north. You're 83, 62 low. Okay. It was 75 here. It was 75 today and 53 for a low. But tomorrow it's going to be 75 during the day, which is nice and comfortable. I like that. 49 in the morning. I like cold temperatures, so I leave my window open. I crack it open and let that cold air come in. Yeah, because I give a break to my AC because I like the cold. I like to sleep in the cold. Winter, I save so much money on my AC. I'm on the AC being off. Oh, man. I save a lot of money. Yeah. Oh, Lord. Yeah, it was weird too. It got cold. It was cold I went outside and I was like, what the fuck? Because I didn't check the weather. I was like, damn, it got a little nippy. So I came back in and got my hoodie. And I got a zip up hoodie. So I zipped up my hoodie. I was like, okay, we doing this in the middle of August? Okay. And then it's getting cold again. I was like, okay, this is a telltale sign that this year is gonna be a little bitch when it comes to weather, and with the snow also. So I made a deal with a friend of mine who lives all the way in the top of a building. So it's not on the top; she's like in the 6th floor, and I made a deal to put my camera there so I could record outside when it snows, so you can see the snow falling. I think that would be really cool. At least to catch the first, like I would say the first snow, but you never know what time and when it starts snowing. But when it starts snowing, I would like to put it into like a time lapse, like compress the amount of hours recording and then compressing it at going really fast so people can see like the whole event happening. I always wanted to do something like that. Like if I had like a place like that high that I could like look down and you guys can see off in the distance and just leave it recording 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Just have a channel just looking off in the distance, and then you'll see when it snows, you see when it rains, you see everything. Oh Lord. Yeah, it's just like, for me, I like the cooler. I like the warmth. Don't get me wrong. I just balance the cool with the warmth because I like it. When I sleep, I like it to at least be between like 63 to 65. Like sleeping, that's my temperature of sleeping temperature. Um, yeah, about 63, 64, 65. That's my sleeping. Um, Then if it gets a little too warm, like I'll start getting uncomfortable when it reaches like 70. 70, I'm already starting to feel uncomfortable. Like sleeping, I can feel like the warmth and I don't like it. I don't like it. It's just I don't know. It's just my body's warm at night because I'm always radiating heat. So like I'm sleeping and I'm discharging the heat and as if it's like not cool enough, it gets like I don't know, you get uncomfortable. Oh boy. But yeah, I'm tired. I am. I gotta get to bed. It was an hour and a half. It didn't make that hour. I almost did. I got to an hour 2 minutes. So I was pretty close. But since I didn't win. I didn't end the show early, so boo hoo. Boo hoo. Yeah, I gotta go to the doctor tomorrow. I got some stuff I gotta do, and once I get everything done, I'll probably come on. Hopefully, I can come on early. I want to see if I could come on early for a little bit. See if there's any breaking news in the morning. See if there's anything crazy that happens. Because every day we go to sleep and we wake up and someone dies. And there's people I understand people die every day, right? People don't think about it, but yeah, people die every day. And, people die of natural causes, people die of a homicide, it's just, even accidents, people just die. And you'd be alarmed by the amount that of people that die in a day. It's wild. It is what it is. And with that said, I'm out of here. Have a good morning, good night. Good morning, good night. Yeah, good morning, good afternoon, and good night. And I'll catch you on the flip side. You can tell I'm tired. Like I'm ready. Like my voice is like, I'm done. I'll be back on tomorrow, and we'll continue this. And yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, see what happens in the news. Maybe something big will happen. I don't know. All right, guys. I'll see y'all later. Peace.